What it do, Bruce Juice crew, and today we're going deep at the running back position, looking at the waiver wire. We're covering pretty much the whole waiver wire today, going running back by running back, so you can make your choice on who you want to pick up, who you want to pivot to, who you want to stay away from. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper than anybody else when it comes to covering the waiver wire. We cover people covering the waiver wire, and we do deep dives on all the trending prospects who got anointed to starting positions, so you know more about the background of that player. We also help you set your lineups with the must-start series at the end of the week. Click that button. It's a free resource. We will be here next year. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. Everybody's got questions, though, on Jaylen Wright. Devin Achane might have been back if things got hectic against the Jets. He was an emergency running back. There's a good chance he's back for Pittsburgh. We still need more practice reports. It's only Tuesday. It is only Tuesday. And there were questions like, why wasn't he promoted and talked about earlier? He was hurt. He was hurt. He wasn't getting work. And then he popped off a little bit and he got the job. And the thing about Jaylen Wright, he's the hot hand right now, but he's also a raw running back. He can be the cold hand very quick. This is a backfield. If Achane's out, you do want both these running backs. We did talk about him as a shotgun running back, especially when we were deep diving the backfields on Thursdays and talking about he's a shotgun running back. If Achane goes out, you are going to want to pick him up. You are going to be interested in him. He is going to be a lottery ticket, and we did talk about him in a lot of waiver wire content for the deeper leagues because of that scenario, because all he needs is one touch. He's kind of like Keaton Mitchell, Isaac Garando. He just needs one touch, and it's over with. One touch, and he's a top 12 running back. He's that explosive. Like a long carry from the 20 to the end zone, he's gone. There it is. And he has the potential to do that just about every play. He's that explosive. That's the type of running back you're looking at. Even when he's running cold, and he gets half the workload, half the touches, or they mess around with him, that's the type of running back you're looking at. He's very explosive. He's very dangerous with the ball in his hands. That's why you always got to account for him on the field. That's why you always got to account for him, even when he's the RB3. And he's trending that way, you always got to account for him because all he needs is one touch. That's all he needs. He's that explosive. Also, nobody's talking about Ollie Gordon anymore, but this is definitely a scenario that if Achane's out, they use both running backs. He gets red zone looks. This is a former Doak Walker Award winner. He's also not firing to the upside. He was a late-round pick. A lot of other circumstances baked into that. DUI, a little lesser production that last year. Ollie Gordon, though, looked good in training camp, looked solid in preseason, had some moments this year. It's just been the Devin Achane show. But around the red zone, around the goal line, I could definitely see him getting more work. He looks like a tight end. That's what they stated about him at the Senior Bowl. He's been getting work all year long. He could definitely end up being the hot hand on any given Sunday. This is kind of like the Buffalo backfield where you got Ray Davis and Ty Johnson, where everybody will run the Ray Davis. And like I've been saying, every time we talk about that backfield, and we'll talk about it today, like I would not be surprised in 1 game sample, 2 game sample, Ty Johnson takes over and outscores him even with lesser touches. This is that type of scenario. You got to watch it play out. But this could be all for nothing if Devin Achane's back on the field. Blake Corum should have already been picked up. He was the top or one of the top running backs in last week's waiver wire. He should have been picked up. If you had Kyron, you should have got Blake. We saw Kyron get banged up. He was banged up throughout the week. He was on the practice reports with the injury. And I don't know why you would go into Sunday with that gamble. Like we saw that with Chuba and Rico. Like Chuba still played and that injury fired back up right after that game. And Rico was the man for a few weeks. Blake Corum is a guy to pick up. He is the number 1 stash, the number 1 handcuff right now in fantasy. His lead back's banged up. That could get worse. That could get better. We don't know. But that's in the realm of possibilities. And we also know he turns into Kyron Williams if Kyron Williams is not there. Tyler Allgeier, the next one, because he is projectable. We know he's going to get all the targets, all the opportunity out of the backfield. He's not going to be Bijan. This offense will look different, but he will get so many touches that he should volume himself in most cases, most games, 10, 11, 12 PPR fantasy points. If he scores once, twice, because they're going to use him around the red zone, they're going to pound them up. And if they're moving the football, and they got some matchups here, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Rams, Saints, that could happen. If Bijan goes down, you're going to wish you had Tyler Allgeier. Big-time insurance policy. Same thing with Manny Wilson. Big-time insurance policy. We already saw this play out with Josh Jacobs out. And if that happens again, he's an older running back. Running back position is going to running back position. Running backs get banged up. And it happens more at the end of the season. On top of with teams that are either out of it or steadfast in a good spot in the playoffs where a win doesn't really do much for them, or if they just want to keep the player more fresh. Really depends on the context. And I'm not saying about the Packers. I'm talking globally here, so don't pin me down to that. I'm just saying we see this increase on the last few games of the season, and it's getting more and more of a consistent thing with these teams. Manny Wilson is one of the top handcuffs in football. We definitely know it now. We know he's not going to get messed with. We said he wasn't going to get messed with. He hits the fairway once every 3 to 4 games anyways, that 10, 11, 12-point area. And that's a handcuff running back that you may want. And if I got Josh Jacobs and I'm highly dependent on him, I would probably want him stashed because I do not want to lose the championship game because I lost Josh Jacobs and I went up against Manny Wilson and he was in the flex. The other guy had a bunch of good running backs or whatever. But Brian Robinson, same thing. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. He's not going to get all the touches, but he's going to get a lot of it. He ain't going to be messed with. He's going to get opportunity. You got Titans, you got Colts, you got Bears, you got some fascinating game scripts right there. Not the softest, but some fascinating, considering we got Phillip Rivers as a possibility, not guaranteed right now as of this moment, but Brian Robinson here. We'll get workload, we'll get opportunity. Christian McCaffrey is a running back, and running back's going to running back. I'm not going to speculate on the old injuries because that's ignorant to do considering he's been upright this whole season. Tank Bigsby, same thing here with Saquon. Same thing here with Saquon because if Saquon goes down, he's going to be the guy everybody runs to. He's going to be the fab buster. Will Shipley more for deeper leagues. He will get work in the passing game. The other running backs as well. They'll probably have a little bit of a committee, but Tank Bigsby will probably get a lot of work up the gut if something happens to Saquon. Malik Davis appears to be the next man up here if something happens to Javonte Williams. Everybody was hard for this Cowboys backfield in the summer. Jaydon Blue, Phil Maffa, Miles Sanders. They were just watching to see who was going to be the next man up after Javonte Williams. If that happens, right now, Malik Davis, Jaydon Blue's in the doghouse. They brought in another running back. We'll talk about him later. But Malik Davis is not in the doghouse. Malik Davis is loved by this coaching staff. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like, more than likely, at least for the end of the season. This is a guy you may want to stash, and you may want to stash in deeper leagues, or if you're that concerned. Bhayshul Tuten, had a question about him, and nobody talked about him, mainly because they're running through players real quick, and we're talking about the fantasy websites and their waiver wire content that we covered yesterday. We covered for the main sites, I won't say top sites, but main sites that are being searched up on Google. I still categorize him as a handcuff lottery ticket running back. And the reason why is he's so explosive. He did fumble, though. He is in possibly the doghouse. Concussion protocol came out, came back in. We're questionable. We're watching all that. We're watching that. LaQuint Allen might be more of a trend now to pay attention to considering the fumbles. But it's all predicated on Travis Etienne. You also got Denver on the road, Week 16. You got the Jets, which isn't a bad matchup, but could it be ugly? That's just the Jets. And then you got the Colts on the road. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like there. Running backs might be very advantageous, or it might be ugly to where it's not. But Bhayshul Tuten, upside play, upside gamble, more of a gamble than he was like a few weeks ago, but still a good upside play. Jaleel McLaughlin's getting touches in this offense with the Broncos. If something happens to R.J. Harvey, they will probably lean on him, and he'll probably get some work in the passing game. I just don't see him stealing or siphoning enough for him to be a consistent producer. He might accidentally produce here. He's getting enough workload where he could accidentally get you there, to like 10, 11, 12, but he's not going to break loose unless something else breaks loose in his backfield to where they have to use him. Sean Tucker, another injury happens. Bucky, Rashad White, he's going to get work. He's going to get opportunity. Like, he's good between the tackles. He's proven that. If Bucky goes down again, he's going to get all the carries. Like, they're not going to mess around with Rashad White again, unless they will, and they're that ignorant. But Sean Tucker proved himself that he can handle the workload. If Bucky's out, he's at least going to get the carries. You got Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, and Carolina again, depending on how deep your championship run is. Sean Tucker's a stash still. He is a stash. Rasheen Ali, big call-up right now. Justice Hill on the IR. Keaton Mitchell, banged up with the knee. We are watching that. That is a player we love, very electric, kind of like in that Jaylen Wright mold. But Rasheen Ali, next man up, if Derrick Henry gets hurt, if that knee is serious with Keaton Mitchell, Samaje Perine gets work in this backfield. Chase Brown is starting to take over a little bit more, but if he goes down, they ain't messing around with Taj Brooks as much as we want. We would like to see it, but Baltimore, Miami, Arizona, if Brown goes down, Perine could be a league winner considering that context, and they're probably just going to use him a lot. They'll probably get all the snaps, all the touches. He's just so dependable. He's good in the passing game for a big running back. He's good between the tackles. He's just not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. He's just not going to break loose. He's going to grind out 3, 4-ish yards per carry every single touch with a full sample. He's going to get you there. He's going to keep the offense moving. He's good in pass protection. He's going to help this team. With volume, he can be good in fantasy. With no volume, he can't because he's not explosive. But again, with a full workload, he could be a league winner with those matchups. Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, I already covered it. Very similar, but a lot different than Jaylen, Wright, and Ollie Gordon. Everybody's going to run the Ray Davis. He would be projected to get the workload, the volume to start things off. But also, it's not just the hot hand, it's the cold hand. So if he's the cold hand and he starts the first 2 series and he gets those touches, Ty Johnson can be electric. Ty Johnson can do it. And they may just split it 50-50. Ty Johnson's proved himself even a little bit more this season. He's very good in space. Like, I like both running backs for what they are, but I can also tell you that I like both the running backs to where I know they can cannibalize each other and cannibalize them to the point where the other running back might be neutralized if they come out cold. And the thing is, Ty Johnson is a guy you do not want to mess around with because he will bite you if you do not pay attention to him. Ty Johnson will be cheaper off the fab. Ray Davis will cost more. Ray Davis should, on a small sample from last year, get the first crack at the carries up the gut, those money touches. Ty Johnson passing down workload, small sample. But what I said is that could flip on its head really quick if Ty Johnson gets hot or Ray Davis gets cold, and that could be in practice. Ray Davis had fumbleitis during his rookie season in training camp. No one calls this out. And they left him for dead on the bench last year for a bit until they had to use him. And you're looking at Ty Johnson. He's dependable. He's dependable. Sometimes dependability is your best ability here at the running back position. Dylan Sampson. Now, I like him more for 14-team-plus leagues or if Quinshawn goes down, but it's hard to make the case to handcuff running backs and players on the Browns. But Dylan Sampson, if you're hard-pressed, 14-team-plus, he is the type of player that can house it on any given touch, and they operate with a lot of screen passes. A lot of screen passes in this offense, where if he's got the green in front of him, it's the right play, right time, he could house it. Like, he is always due for a big play. He's not due for volume. He's due for the big play. He's more of a gamble in that sense. More of an increase of workload if Quinshawn's down, obviously, but 14-team plus, 16-team plus, larger lineup requirements. You're looking at Dylan Sampson. Traditional 12-man, 10-man leagues, hard-pressed to do it. It's very hard to do so. There's other running backs to look at. Jaydon Blue, Israel Abanikanda. Now we're going deeper. Jaydon Blue is in the doghouse. Tons of upside, 4.3 speed, good catch the ball in the backfield, was banged up in training camp, fumbled like week 8, 7, like a long time ago. We ain't been seeing the field. He's been banged up off and on, too. He's a very explosive player. But He's a late round pick. There's no sunk cost here. Like, on top of that, like, we like the specs physically on him, but he never fired to that high school recruiting prowess either. Like, he has a lot of upside and doesn't live up to it. That could be the case of his football career in general. Is it Abanikanda? Very good running back prospect. This could be a sneaky get on their practice squad from Pittsburgh. Just lit it up there. One of the most productive running backs in college. Good size, good explosiveness. This is a small crack for him to earn a job. This is for deeper leagues, and this is for you guys to watch out for this if the injuries happen. Izzy Abanikanda is good enough that if he develops into this role fast enough, to where he can earn it. Because Jaden Blue is in the doghouse, not living up to his upside. Malik Davis, they like Malik Davis. But Izzy's got the talent. He's just got to learn it. He's just got to develop into the system. He's still bouncing from team to team to team. Started off with the Jets. Everybody knows his talent. Everybody's scouting him. Everybody sees the same things I see, and they want to see what's under the hood. They keep bringing him in. That is another sign. But he's got to latch on. If he can latch on, that could be a dangerous player deep if injuries hit. Ameer Abdullah here will be the next man up if Jonathan Taylor goes down. And if Jonathan Taylor goes down, everybody's going to run to Ameer Abdullah. He had a run last year with the Raiders, and that's hard to do. That is hard to do. That is a very hard thing to do. And he's getting work off and on. The other running backs, too. Giddens was out, scratch. You're looking at the other running backs, Goodson. But Ameer Abdullah is getting the touches. He's the veteran. He's dependable. That's the guy everybody would be flocking to the waiver wire for. Brashard Smith. Looks like it's over for us here in 2025, and we're going to be back on for 2026 as the upside play. Now it's starting to trend down. I told you I would keep tabs on him for you guys because this is a prospect that has the specs to go off and a system that could go off, but also a system that has a lot of weapons to take away from his potency. Brashard Smith, upside play long-term, but he needs more time to develop. Late round pick, has spent more time at wide receiver than running back. Extra raw. Super productive at SMU. Spent a lot of time at wide receiver. He's good in the passing game. Maybe if they need him, but we don't have much more time anymore. Isaiah Davis. Breece Hall goes down. Sure, you got some interesting matchups here. Jacksonville, Patriots, slower matchups. You got the Saints on the road. Touches is what you'd be looking at in this situation. He's proven last year that given the opportunity, he can fire when he's the main guy or even sharing it with another rookie. You're looking at Isaiah Davis as a guy more for deeper leagues. I think we got enough running backs here to the stash where you're probably going to be too full to go out on a leap like this unless something happens. Kaleb Johnson, though. Kaleb Johnson is a guy that could be sneaky down the stretch somewhere. If one of the running backs get hurt or somehow Pittsburgh is out of it, week 17 or so, and they want to see what they got. Arthur Smith, too. Another scenario is just him doing what he wants. Like, he cut touches from Bijan and just randomly gave him back, and there was no count for it. Kaleb Johnson could just randomly get touches one game, splash for you, and go off, or we don't see him till next year. But if I'm in a deeper league, if I got room for a stash, that is something to pay attention to. Those are the running backs we're looking at off the waiver wire here for week 15. We're in the playoffs. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who you're picking up, who you're stashing. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.